I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream at night any dream you wanted to dream. And you would, of course, be able to alter your time sense and slip, say, 75 years of subjective time into 8 hours of sleep.
When I first started the Melee Only Ironman project, there was one thing that I wanted to achieve, and that was to kill the corporeal beast. While I knew that it was technically possible on my account, limited to 1 magic and 1 range, I also knew it would be an uphill grind to get to the point where I could even get 1 kill. To do this grind on an Ironman, of course, you do need the following 4 items: the Arclight, the Zamorakian Spear, a Dragon Warhammer, and the Bandos Godsword. Of the 4 items, the Arclight is the easiest to attain by far, only requiring a few quests to be able to attain a Dark Light, and then you can add some ancient shards to it. However, the real challenge comes from the other 3 items. I knew this would be possible on my account, like I said, but I was unsure of how long it might take to actually complete this goal before I even get to the first kill. Technically, the Corp grind starts all the way back in early 2019, as back then that was the first time I decided to try killing the Lizardman Shamans. Now the Shamans of course have a 1 out of 5,000 drop rate for the Dragon Warhammer, and of course being a melee Ironman, this item is very integral to my account progression. And at the time, my best weapon to do the job was a leaf-bladed sword. Here was the setup I was working with. It ain't much, but it also wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. Even with my weaker setup, I decided to test my luck and see what the first 500 kill count had in store for me. Now during this time I wasn't recording too much, as honestly I was pretty burnt out of recording in general, but thankfully I did decide to record a random shaman trip back then with the leaf bladed sword, and you can see this is just what I had to experience for my first 500 kill count. Back then the shamans were maybe 40 to 50 kills an hour, but honestly I was having a lot of fun even with dying a couple times, and I did end up fitting the 500 kill count. Quickly realizing this really wasn't the best way to go about the Dragon Warhammer grind, I decided it was best to stop at that 500 kill count and test my luck elsewhere. During my break from the shamans, I decided to see if it was even possible to kill Krill Suitsarov at my current stage of the account. At my time, my gear wasn't the best, and also I have never done God Wars Dungeon on old school prior to this account, so I didn't have any gear and I didn't really have the knowledge. But what I did lack in all of that, I had the Arclight. Now of course the Arclight shreds Krill, so I was hoping maybe with this I could pull a couple lucky kills and see what happens. Like with the shamans, you could say I was pretty undergeared for the content I wanted to do, but this was the setup I was using at the time, and even if you can get a single kill, all it takes is 1 roll of RNG to change your account forever. But back then, my gear was actually so bad at the time that I would need a death pile of food in order to get consistent kills. Slowly, I started collecting a few kill count under my belt, and soon I even had a semi-reliable method of getting my kills down. But sadly, I didn't get to work on my method for too long, as on the 12th kill back then, I managed to pull the Zamorakian Spear. Now sadly, like with the shamans, I wasn't recording back then, as I was pretty demotivated from just recording in general, but sadly I really wish I was recording back then. I'd love to see my reaction, as getting the Zamorakian Spear was a key moment in this account, and it really drove my motivation to actually get back to working on all these grinds. A few months later, 2020 rolled by, and I realized my dream of killing Corp was actually closer than I realized. That Zamorakian Spear was key, and during that time I was really grinding my account. And also, this is about the time that I decided to look at returning to YouTube, and with that, I decided to lay out a big goal. Now if you've been watching the videos for the last year, you might remember this checklist I made a while back, detailing just what I needed to get before I could actually get a Corp kill. I created this checklist of items I either wanted or absolutely needed before I could start the Corp grind. Realistically, with decent RNG on my side, I was hoping to start the Corp grind later that summer, but of course I needed to check some items off the list to get started. With my trusty Zami Hosta by my side, I decided to return to the shamans to grind out the Dragon Warhammer, Compared to that previous time that I was at Shamans with the leaf-weighted sword, the Hasta was an amazing upgrade that boosted my kills by quite a lot. While I return to the Shaman grind, I might as well show you guys how I actually did the Shamans on the Scout. The gear should be pretty self-explanatory, and I'm using my Hasta as the Shamans are weak to stab. With camping only protect from melee, I was able to get roughly 60 kills an hour, and if I decided to flick for the entire hour, I could get about 85 kills an hour on an hour that I focused a lot. My trips will last for about 20 minutes, and my usual inventory setup is a 2-dose of super attack and strength, a 3-dose super anti-poison, 2 prayer pots, and 15 sharks. Thankfully, the grind itself didn't take too long, as after a few weeks of killing it off and on after work, this happened. Oh my god, I didn't record the reaction, but I just got the Dragon Warhammer. Yes. I'm not even that dry, but I really didn't like this grind, to be honest. Alright, we know what time it is. Let's go check the kill count. I had to do that back to back. So, okay, 6374. 6374. Not too bad at all. And now, after knocking out the Zami Spear alongside the Dragon Warhammer, and passively working on some of the skilling goals on the side, I realized I was much closer to my first Corp kill than I anticipated. In fact, I was one weapon away, just needing that Bandos God Sword. My Bandos setup tended to change as I like to try new methods, but here's what I was using pretty much for most of my kills. And I almost forgot, I didn't mention that I actually also spooned a Visage at about 600 Wyvern kill count. And having this GFS was really critical for my Bandos setup, but instead of talking more about Bandos, I'll let my spoon speak for itself. So yeah, after only 229 kill count, I managed to grab a BCP, Tassies, and the hilt from Grador. I even managed to make a full Godsword blade in those kills, which meant after only a few months and a few more quick skilling grinds on the side, it was finally time. With the RNG aligning, I was finally able to start the grind that would take on average 1,300 hours to hit the drop rate of my dream item, the Elysian Sigil. Killing Corp on an Ironman is a pretty slow grind. On normal Ironman, one can expect anywhere from 4 to 7 kills an hour. On my account, however, that number drops to 3. Why? It has to do with my 1 magic restriction. There's 2 things with my restriction that hinder my Corp killing potential, and that involves my POH and my magic defense. During the skilling grind for Corp, one of my goals was 99 construction, and this was vital to effectively killing Corp, as due to my restriction, this is my only reliable method of teleporting to my POH. However, an issue with my POH is my rejuvenation pool. Sadly, I don't have access to the ornate rejuvenation pool, as there's no way for me to get into the Elven lands, which means I'm locked out of Zolor scales, which are required for the ornate pool. On top of my pool that doesn't heal my HP, I needed a reliable method of teleporting to the Corp player. And when I was first theory crafting my Corp method, I actually assumed that I'd have to travel via the canoe every time I wanted to spec Corp down. Thankfully, during my browsing of the wiki one night, I stumbled upon my solution, being the Tarn's Lair. It's been a while. I've had these in my bank for months, but before I actually build this, you're probably wondering how I got charged games necklaces and rings of dueling at 1 magic. To answer that question, we'll need to travel to the swamp-filled lands of Mauritania. So here we are in Mauritania. More specifically, this is actually the entrance to Tarn's Lair. There's something interesting about Tarn's Lair is the drop table of the monsters inside of it. If you watch any of Swamplotic's videos, you've probably seen how random these drop tables can get. There are 2 specific drop tables that mattered for me during this grind. The level 42 skeletons that drop a 3 charged ring of dueling, and the level 77 skeletons that drop a 2 charge games necklace. Since I needed 24 charges in total, I killed these skeletons for a total of 8 rings of dueling and 12 game necklaces. This process took me close to 20 hours of being very AFK, as there aren't many of these mobs around and the drop rate is 1 out of 64. After I received the necessary amount of dual rings and games necklaces, I then used Murky Matte in the Grand Exchange to decant my partially charged jewelry. There we go. That looks so nice, and I can finally use these teleports. With everything with my POH solved, there's now one more obstacle, being my magic defense. You see, the way old school calculates your magic defense is split into two parts in the calculation. First is your magic defense from your armor and your defense level, which is about 30% of the calc, and then the rest is your magic level, which is 70% of the calculation. Although the Ironman Corp method does involve speccing Corp down to level 1 stats, there was still an issue I wouldn't realize until I started this grind. Corp can still hit his max hit even when he's at level 1 magic. Now you may think that's actually not such a big deal, but even with Corp's stats really low, they do regen during the fight. And depending on how my DPS is during the fight, Corp can actually regen his magic level high enough where he becomes very accurate against me, requiring a lot of food. During a good kill, I might only eat a couple pieces of food, which doesn't include all the food I have to eat while speccing. But on a bad kill, this could be my entire inventory of food, plus some food that I've def piled on the ground, just in case the kill doesn't go well. Also, while speccing, I either need to regen my HP at the Ferrex Enclave, which resets my super attack and or super strength, or I just need to eat more food, which is ultimately what I decided to do. Overall, each Corp kill ends up taking around 15 minutes, but each kill for me also requires around 6 minutes of supply prep, due to how much food I actually end up using. But with all that behind me, it's time to finally jump into my first ever Corp kill on the Melee Ironman. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but here it is. The very first Corp kill. What do we get? Okay, Runite Ore. My corporeal beast's kill count is 1. And thanks to the power of the spoon, it actually didn't take me too long to see my first collection log item at Corp. Oh my, what the fuck? I just got a sigil. Holy shit. Sadly, the Spectral does have a 65 magic requirement to wield it, which means it'll become a fancy bank space for me once I make it. But at least for now, I had a goal at Corp, which is to make my first ever spirit shield. Back to back to back. Wow. Back to back gem drop. That's crazy. And as long as I hit while we're here, maybe one more hit. Come on, risk it. All right, here we go. That should be 150 Corp kill count. Oh, there it is. Got the holy elixir. Man, I'm happy. I'm a happy little bunny. And anyways, that was first kill of the day. Just check the collection log, of course. And there we go. 2 out of 6 at Corp. Wow, really? All right, holy elixir number 2. Big kill number 200. And we ended with Onyx Bolts. Very happy. That's a great drop as always. And I'll probably either put up a screen on now or something else. But yeah, only weird thing was no spirit shield, which is a 1 out of 64 drop, which means I'm about 3 times the drop rate for just the spirit shield, which I just find it funny because I get lucky on the holy elixir and the sigil, so I go drawing the most common one. That's fine. Overall, I did my first Corp grind at 200 kill count with the Spectral Sigil, of course, and 2 holy elixirs. And while my break from Corp was mostly laying the foundation on maxing, I also used it as an opportunity to finish 2 skilling requirements that I still needed to do to make the Spectral Spirit Shield, being 90 Prayer and 85 Smithing. So recently, I finished off base 90 stats and decided to pay a visit to my old friend Krill to look for another Zami Spear, as currently the only spear that I had turned into a lance. And if you watched the latest video, you'll know that after only a few days of killing Krill, I managed to grab my hands on a second Zami Spear at 72 kill count. And now, with the Zami Spear back in my inventory, I want to return the Corp and end off this chapter of Corp completing off the Spectral Spirit Shield. This means that I only need to keep going until I land on that beautiful 1 out of 64 drop for the actual Spirit Shield. With that, let's actually get into it. Alright, first Corp kill back in several months. And we start with white berries. That's actually a really good drop to get long term. First kill of the day. What do we get? Oh my god. Oh my god. I just got the Elysian. I just fucking got the Elysian. What the oh my god. I don't even have a spirit shield yet. I'm out of words. I completed Corp basically. I just gotta get this stupid spirit shield, which I'm very, very happy it could be dry on. I literally thought this was gonna be a multi-year grind. I don't know why I dropped everything. I gotta go back. I have to get the spirit shield now. I hope it doesn't. I really don't hope it doesn't take too long but yeah. Okay, that's the clip. That's it. Okay, this is a really close kill. But let's just see what we get. And we actually get Onyx bolts back to back. Corp just loves me. So it's been almost like an hour since my last kill. My kills take about 20 minutes, by the way. So it was like 40 minutes for me to set up the next kill. I really just did not believe this was gonna happen. Onyx bolts, that's very nice. I will humbly accept that. Oh, there it is. There is the spirit shield. I have an Ellie. I have an Elysian spirit shield on my melee only Ironman. Okay, I don't have any big speech for this one. And speaking of, since this will be probably, we won't have another spirit shield on the account for a very long time. I'm not going back to Corp anytime soon. One day I would like to make the Spectral just for bank space. So just in case you haven't seen some of my other videos, the Spectral does have a 65 magic requirement, so I cannot wield it. This was the only shield I can wield. But anyways, the spirit shield has the stats on screen, +1 prayer, I guess, you know, some decent stats. But the thing is, earlier this year, I also got a really lucky Dragon Fire shield, which it just beats the spirit shield in everything. It doesn't have prayer bonus, but it has +7 melee strength, plus all those big DPS increases. However, I did want to compare it to the DFS, so we're going to, I'll wear the spirit shield for one last time. It's not really a big deal though. Again, I was never going to use this shield. It was only going to be for cosmetics. But there it is. There is the blessed spirit shield on the melee, by the way. And yeah, just real quick, looking at the stats between the blessed spirit shield and the Dragonfire shield, it's just clear that Dragonfire shield is better. The only thing nice, again, the blessed spirit shield was the +3 prayer bonus. That's really about it. Dragonfire shield just beats it. But we can wield this for just a little bit longer. I anticipated this was going to be the shield I was going to wield for, you know, for fun, for Fashionscape and stuff. I didn't expect this thing to get here. But I guess the last thing I will say is that this account pretty much is peaked. I mean, I don't know what else I can do to top this. Alright, let's do it. Let's make an Elysian Spirit Shield. I don't know how to do this. There it is. I'm just waiting. I'm sitting back. I did not think this was. I honestly. I am just shocked. I don't know how to feel. My account, like I said, is literally peaked. I have an Elysian Spirit Shield. Okay, let's check the collection log. So there it is. 227 kill count. 1 Elysian, a Spectral that can't use, of course, I can't wield. 2 Holy Elixirs, and the Spirit Shield. Again, I'm like 1,000 hours lucky on this account, or on this boss alone, so I don't know. I think I've effectively peaked.